Mali Talks. Happy New Year. This is the first episode that we're going to be having on the channel for the year. And as you guys can tell, I have so much energy because I'm just so wrapped up for this year. And I thought to myself, I wanted to come on here and not only just do a catch-up session, but also to share with you guys the kind of habits that I want you to adopt. I'm not saying I suggest you adopt. I'm not saying I would like for you to adopt. No, I want you to adopt in this new year if your plan is to change your life. If your plan is to start seeing a lot of positivity in your life, if your plan is to decide that this is the year that you're going to start putting your life in order so that, say, maybe in the next 3 or 5 years, your life looks entirely different. If this video is talking about something that you've always been wanting to hear about but just didn't know where to find it, please do hit the like button, and also feel free to hit the subscribe button. Trust me, this is the channel that you want to be on. So without wasting any more of your time, I just want to get right into it. So first of all, an update from my life is the fact that in December, I took some time off because I wanted to just take a step back from my life to check out the things that I've been doing in the past year, to make sure if they're still aligned for what I want to do in the following year. And also, guys, because it was just year-end fatigue, I was feeling very tired. I was feeling actually also a bit lost and a bit uncertain about type of the goals that I had planned for myself as of last year, and obviously some of the goals that I was not able to achieve. So all that was just a bit overwhelming for me, and I thought, you know what, the only way for me to be able to position myself in a way that enables me to come back better and stronger for you guys and for this channel is for me to just take a break. So apologies on those who have been expecting new videos, guys. I know, but because I am the bunny that is always feeding you all this energy, I needed to make sure that I am also in a good space in order for me to be able to deliver on the promises that I always make for you guys on this channel. Not only that, if you follow me on social media, I took some time off with my husband to go to Dubai. Yes, checking my out on a thong in Dubai. I've always wanted to say that, guys. So we did that, and guys, it was just so amazing. And in all honesty, being in Dubai, because Dubai is a very luxurious country here, being in Dubai just really rejuvenated me into the kind of focus and direction that I want. And if you know me personally, you know that the one thing that I want is money. Which is why this channel is about how you can make money, the kinds of side hustles that you can start, how you can actually improve your life so that it ends up mimicking the kind of life that you actually envision for yourself in the next couple of years. And being there just made me feel like, my goodness, this was a good idea to come here. I was able to rethink, to re-strategize, and come back stronger and better than ever. And that is why I've decided that our first video for the year is going to be this video, where I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things I want you to adopt in your life going forward from this point now, so that obviously by the time a new year starts, you're already in tune and in line with the kind of structure you want for your life. So a lot of the videos that would probably be in line with some of the things that I want to say usually share habits that you should leave in the previous year, or habits that you need to drop, or what you should stay away from. And I just thought to myself, I wanted to twist the coin a bit by giving a more positive outlook on those types of things, by actually sharing with you habits and things that you're supposed to do from now onwards. That means things that you can adopt, habits that you can adopt into a structure of your life that you can start today, that will ensure that going forward your life actually looks like, again, the kind of life that you envision for yourself. And one of the motivators for this video is the fact that I actually did a bit of a poll on Instagram the other day, just asking people to ask me any life coaching related questions, and I promised that I was going to answer them to the best of my abilities. And people came up with very interesting questions, and it made me think to myself, one of the questions that actually stood out, well, there were 2 of them. The first one was, how do I stay consistent? And then the second one was, do I ever feel lost? And if so, how do I come back from that? The points that I'm about to share in this video are basically my way of life that ensures that all that you guys see on my life or on my feed or on my channel, etc., is what it is because of these processes and or these habits that I've learned to pick up for myself and implement in my life on a daily. If there's one thing that is constant, guys, it's change. You cannot expect yourself to become a newer version of yourself while you're still operating in processes of 3 or 4 years ago in your life. If you got a degree 5 years ago, great for you, but what have you done with it? What processes have you put in place, or what new habits have you adopted that are going to ensure that the degree that you got 5 years ago is actually going to get you to where you want 5 years later, which basically should be now? What I'm basically trying to say is, you cannot keep doing the same thing and expecting the same results. And trust me, I am a witness of this in my life. I'm a witness of this in my fashion business, where I realized that we can't just wake up every day and take pictures of clothes and post them online and hope people are going to come. There's certain things that you need to change, certain habits that you need to adopt, new ways of doing life that you need to implement in your life right now that are going to help you to actually start living the kind of life that you envision for yourself. Because I'm sure right now a lot of you have vision boards, whether it's a physical vision board or it's a visual vision board, but you're not going to be able to realize even the points or the goals or the dreams that you have on your vision board if you do not adapt to the following habits that I'm going to share. Not only that, then people come back and like, oh no, vision boards don't work. What do people mean when they say they are manifesting their vision board? Manifestation of vision boards is just a myth. It's not a myth, guys. It's not a myth. It's a system. It's processes, it's habits, things that you put in your life, you put in place in your life to ensure that you are able to move from point A to point B. So anyway, now that we're done with the introduction, I'm going to share with you my 5 habits that I want you to pick up this year that are going to help you to change your life going forward. The first habit that I want you to adopt if you're planning on changing your life from today onwards is to cut down on the clutter. When you think of clutter, you think, oh no, now I must do a house cleaning or I must empty my wardrobe and give people all my clothes. No, that's not the kind of clutter I'm talking about. So usually at the beginning of the year, we all have goals and or things that we've written down, I hope, in our diaries as things that we'd like to achieve. But as the years continue moving and or we see other things that our friends are doing as the year is moving, it's easy for us to feel like maybe so-and-so's idea is better. Or maybe the implementation of somebody else's plan looks better, to a point where you clutter your mind and then you are unable to focus on the goals that you had already set for yourself. So by cutting the clutter, what I'm trying to say is decide on a goal or a focus for this year that you want. Even if it's one goal, even if it's weight loss, even if it's getting a certificate, even if it's saving money for your next holiday, one big goal for yourself that you're going to decide. If maybe you're like me and you kind of have experience with planning your life out, maybe you might even decide on planning on a 5-year term goal, which you break down to 3 years, which you can then break down to a year, which is something that I'm actually going to talk about in a different video. It's a seminar that I did a couple of years ago called the Get It Done Plan. And in light of what we're talking about in this video, I thought I will make a separate video talking about that so you guys can look out for it. Back to cutting down the clutter. Remove yourself from anything that seems like it's confusing your focus. If it's social media that's confusing your focus, remove yourself from the kind of social media that clouds your focus and focus more on the social media that actually feeds your motivation, feeds your focus, feeds your direction, feeds the plans that you have on your vision board for yourself. You are going to find yourself in a situation 12 months from now, or maybe even 18 months from now if your plan is a really long-term one, starting to look like the kind of life that you envisioned for yourself at this point in time when you decided to start the process. Cutting down the clutter also relates to the kind of energy that you keep around yourself. Energy is a big thing, guys. If you're always hanging around with people that are always complaining, always sad, always finding a reason why the world is unhappy, you are going to end up being an unhappy person. You are going to end up being clouded yourself and feeling like you cannot actually achieve the dreams that you want for yourself. So my advice, declutter, cut out the clutter, remove all the things that you feel like are not in line with the focus that you have for your life so that you can remain one man with yourself and the energy that you need and the inspiration and the determination that you need for you to be able to change your life from today onwards. The second habit that I want you to adopt if you're wanting to change your life is to have a plan. Guys, I don't know. I grew up in a Christian home. I believe in the Bible. I pray. And that's why I feel like I earnestly believe in the verse that says, write the vision down so that he who reads it may run with it. In my perspective, the way that I interpret it is the person who reads it is not just physical people that are going to come into your life and find you written down your plan so that they can now carry it on. Like, it's not a legacy plan. It's the spirit man who comes into your life, who, as you're praying each and every day, oh God, please help me with this, please help me solve this. When God and or your spirit man look down at your, I don't know, where you spend your time, your diary, your journal, they find nothing. Which means they can't read out the plan that you have set for your life. Therefore, spirit man cannot run with it, you know? I should be a preacher, guys. Like, I think I'd make an amazing pastor. But what I'm trying to say is the vision, once you've written it down, or the plan, once you've written it down, and this is my personal experience, guys, I'm not even playing with you. What happens is the more you write down what you want to do and or what you hope to do, whether it's a 5-year plan, whether it's a 3-year plan, whether it's a 1-year plan, even if it's a plan for the next 3 months of your life, what you want to achieve at the end of 3 months, the minute you write it down, you go back to your journal every day, right? You check your to-do list. Maybe you write a new to-do list. The fact that those things that you've written down, that big plan, you've broken it down to certain to-do activities for every day. Those small to-do activities for every day are what will lead you to actually being able to achieve the goal at the end of 3 months. That's how you make the vision come alive. That's why it's important for you to write it down. That's why it's important for you to have a plan for your life. And you can have this plan in your mind, right? And feel like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to be this person in 5 years' time. But unless you've written it down and you actually have words in your journal or in your manual, whatever it is that you're writing, that are going to force you to implement the actions that are in line with getting that goal done, it will only remain a plan in your mind. Like, not only that, because of point 1, where sometimes even though we're trying to be focused on our goals, we do get disturbed. If your plan is only in here and it's not in here, where you can read and check your schedule, so that you can hold yourself accountable, trust me, everybody else's problems will clutter your mind like this. Other people that are achieving will make you feel like you're not achieving because you're watching them. They're feeding your mind. The things that you're looking at on social media, that's feeding your brain. It's feeding your energy. At some point, that plan that you're carrying in your mind totally disappears. 2 years down the line, you don't even remember what the plan was because it was not written down. You were carrying it in your mind. Listen, I can't overemphasize this point enough. I think you guys can tell how passionate I am. And quite honestly, these are the things that keep me consistent. For those that feel like they watch my life, they feel like they can relate to some of the things that I talk about, but they just don't know how to achieve them, this is how I do it. These are my behind the scenes tricks of how it seems like I stay productive, I stay consistent. Even when I feel like I'm not sure where life is going, I continue moving. It's because I have a plan. The plan is written down. That written down plan echoes in my mind every day when I look at my manual to remind me to start doing the actions and or to start being accountable for the things that I've actually written down so that I can achieve my goals and actually change my life. Okay, so point number 3 is something that is a bit tricky because sometimes it portrays you as somebody who is selfish. But that's okay. I'm gonna teach you that it's okay to be selfish, and this is the habit that I want you to adopt from this day forwards into your life. Learn to say no. Guys, I'm a very nice person, or at least I'd like to think I am, because I don't go out of my way to make other people's life miserable. I don't really stay in gossip circles because I feel like it's a waste of my time, etc. But I have learned that there's a difference between being a nice person and a good person. If you're a good person, you know how to say no because you have boundaries. You know what you don't want to do. You know where you don't want to go. You know the kind of circles you don't want to hang out at. But sometimes, in order for you to implement change, it means you must lose certain parts of yourself, which is why change is very hard for a lot of people, even if you really want to do it. It requires you to let go of parts of yourself. And for me, it's the idea that I must show up for everyone. I must be there for everyone. Anyone who wants free information, I must respond to all the emails. It's impossible. It's impossible. And quite honestly, sometimes it's a waste of your time because some of the things and or the people that you show up for literally have nothing to do with your life. Like, they have nothing to do with the bigger goal that you have in your life. If something or a conference or an event or a meeting has to do with the goals that you would have set in point 2, the plan for your life, then great, by all means, attend all the events. But you cannot be at every baby shower, every birthday, every wedding, go and pick up every friend who's had a car breakdown, go and be there for every friend who's going through the most, because more than half the time, if you look around, all those things are related to other people. And then I want you to sit back and think, on your days when you've had downturns, how many of those people showed up? It's a hard question to ask because it then makes you reevaluate some of the relationships that you have. And this is not just with friends, it's even with family. You cannot keep showing up for your family and being the person that's always available when everybody wants a loan. How are you going to achieve your financial goals? What if your goal for a year or for 3 years is to build a home? How are you going to build your home if you keep bleeding 200, 300, 500, 1,000 here, trying to be there for everyone? And quite honestly, most of the time, the favors that we give out because we don't want to say no or we're afraid of saying no, they don't lead to anything. They lead to a lot of dissatisfaction, whereby now when you're going through the most and you look around and you're hoping people are going to come to your rescue, or you're hoping for a big group to come to your rescue because you're always there for everybody else, there's literally no one. Or there's 4 people, or there's 2 people. If you're lucky, there's 2 people. Yeah, but where now you've spent so much of your time saying yes, I'll be there, I'll stay up at night, I'll take you to the airport, yeah, but it's impossible. It's impossible. I want you to learn how to say no. Say yes to the things that you feel like fulfill your spirit, because that's another thing. Part of saying no means that you only reserve yourself for spaces, people, experiences, energies that fit into what you would like in your life and or that fit positively into your life. And it's not everything that does that. Sometimes someone says, I need to meet you up for lunch. Half the time as you're going into the day or you're getting closer to the day, you can tell that, you know what, I actually don't want to see this person. Or I don't want to have this lunch. Or I don't want to go to the lunch place that this person has suggested. But you force yourself to go. And then in your mind, you're already stressed for the past couple of days that have been leading to this date. By the time you get there, your energy is even lower than what it should be. And in fact, you're shortchanging the person, the experience, the event, etc. that you're supposed to be participating in, because your entire spirit man is already low and underwhelmed by the experience, because initially what you wanted to say was, no, I'm not available. And this doesn't mean you're abandoning people. It doesn't mean that you're becoming a nasty person. It just means you're preserving a whole lot more of yourself for yourself, the same way that everybody does. I often say this, that there's the reason why super rich people don't come back to tell us how they did it. It's because they are self-preserving their energy so that they can continue making more money for themselves and their families, because they know that even if they were to fill up halls of people, not charge ticket prices, give out free food, only say maybe 10 people out of 1,000 would actually take their points and go and implement them. So that's an entire waste of their time. And that whole time while they're there on a conference, on a stage, they would have been wasting themselves. I don't know if you guys understand this, but I want you to learn how to say no. It's not selfish. Of course, you need to be there for the people that are in your life. You need to show up for people, but it's not everyone that's in your life that's worth showing up for. You need to do a self-introspection. If you're always everywhere for everyone, something's wrong with you. And those people, they know that something is wrong with you. They come to you wanting the things because they know that of all the people in their lives, you are going to show up for them. Otherwise, they would actually go to the people that they're actually close to go and get the help. Which is why when you are in a dilemma, they are not the close people in your life that come through for you, because they are not your close people in the first place. So learn to say no this year and see how your life changes. Learn to say no and see how much energy and time you actually get to have for yourself and your goals, so that you can implement this plan that you have written in point number 2. The 4th habit that I want you to adopt if you want to change your life is something that is always spoken about by every life coach, every business person, every person in finance, etc. And even though sometimes it seems like an impossible goal to achieve because you feel like, oh my goodness, where am I going to find this money? It's something that I would advise you to adopt. And I'm going to even tell you how you can actually make sure that it's a habit that you actually adopt. The 4th habit that you need to adopt in order for you to be able to change your life is to save money for a rainy day. So I drive a BMW, right? And I know that sometimes when we say that, people think, ding, 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 BMW drivers. That's all well and good. But one of my biggest fears as a BMW driver, especially the kind of car that I drive and or maybe the kind of car my husband drives, is the fact that if maybe I get a tire puncture and I need to change my tires, I don't have money. The thought of that freaks me out to a point where I am always finding ways to save small pockets of money in my life. And when you look at my lifestyle, especially those who follow me online, you may think like there's no way this person has money to save. Trust me, I have a lot of income streams. Even if it's 500 Rand, I will save it. Even if it's 350, I will save it. If it's a payment from a paid partnership that I've done and they're paying me 1,500 Rand, because that money is not something that I had planned to have in my budget anyway, because it's not part of my monthly salary, I put it away. It's very important for you as a human being, as an adult, to have money for a rainy day. The last thing you want is to look like a lifestyle that you can't afford. And I know that a lot of this happens on social media, because on social media everybody looks rich. But what some people don't tell you is that their money is not from them. Like, they probably have a sugar dad. Or better yet, they come from a rich family, so that's how they're able to look like they have everything that they want under the sky. Or three, they're into criminality, which is something that both you and I are not going to be able to do. The average middle class person who has an 8 to 5 job, but who always feels like, my goodness, I get paid at the end of every month, but I'm drowning in money. Like, I'm drowning in debt. I'm drowning in my finances. I'm drowning in student loans. I'm drowning in credit cards. What could be the reason? And you're a middle class person and you're not even able to take a holiday for yourself. You get paid monthly, by the way, but you can't take 4 days over the Easters or during Christmas or I don't know what, to literally spoil yourself on a holiday. Cape Town, Durban, Mpumalanga, those are my go-to places if I want something simple. Internationally, there's people who've spent 5 years and they've never been on an international trip and they work very well. Like, they literally get paid 40K. And it's not that you're not a person that wants to go on holiday. Like, it's not like you don't like holidays. You do, but you always feel like there's not enough money at the end of your bank. So I am here to advise you on the fact that you need to save money for a rainy day. And how are you going to save money for a rainy day? My advice is very simple. It is the gist of the lot of my videos that are on this channel. Just start a small side hustle. Listen, there's businesses that you can start that don't require you to buy products and have them in your house at a value of 10,000 Rand. There's businesses that even though they require you to buy stock, they don't require you to do a lot of advertising and marketing, products and content. They are just there. Avon, Honey, what's the other one that I've seen? Inuga. All these are small businesses that I think are actually great for people that are in corporate and or that have a 9 to 5 job. The reason for that is it's easy for you to create customers and a clientele list based on the people that you work and interact with on a daily basis. If also you feel like, you know what, I'm really not good with talking to people, I don't want to be trying to be selling people products, etc. Darling, there's a lot of videos on my channel at any given point in time that are going to help you to at least, at a minimum, on a daily basis, make $5. Just 5. 5 times 16, that's 80 Rand that you could easily make every day. Let's say you decide to do that online side hustle for 5 days. That's times 5. That's, 80 times 5. That's 400 Rand that you can easily make per week. Let's multiply that by 4 weeks as an assumption of what a month is, times 4. You literally can make 1,600 Rand per month outside your 9 to 5. Without you getting up and out of your house, without you trying to get someone to buy into your product or whatever, you can easily make 1,600 Rand per month. And this is like the bare minimum of what you can actually make online if you were to put your heart and mind into it. Guys, don't let social media lie to you. Not everybody on social media is as rich as what they look. And it's easy for you to feel frustrated, especially as someone who feels like, you know what, I got a degree, I got my act together, I was a good child, I got a job, but somehow my life financially is just not aligning. And in all honesty, we are headed for darker times, guys. Like, fuel prices are still going to go up. Interest rates are still going to go up. We have a load shedding problem that's going to lead to people getting pay cuts and or actually losing their jobs when other companies are not able to sustain things like generators, etc. So if you're a person who feels like you only have one income stream, I can assure you, you're already too close to having no income stream, and that is dangerous. Also, sometimes you don't even have to look out of your industry for you to be able to make a bit of extra money. You can literally decide on the weekends to either be a part-time lecturer and or to be a part-time coach based on the skills and qualifications that you have. If you have something that other people are looking for, charge them a certain amount of money. I mean, I have people that online always feel like, we are willing to pay you money to be a life coach. And I think one day, maybe when I'm older, a bit more retired, a bit more slowed down, I will consider that, because I do feel like there's a lot of people out there that could use a lot of information, not just life coaching information, accounting information, teaching information, yay, any skill that you have, you can turn into a coaching business. There's actually a business that I met a few years ago in Cape Town. The lady, she does nails. And I thought to myself, this woman not only does nails, but she also offers the nail teaching business as part of her side hustle. And when I spoke to and interviewed her, because I was so interested in what she was doing, she made me understand how her business is no longer even based on people coming in on a daily to do their nails. Most of her money now comes from the fact that she's coaching other people on how to actually do nails, young girls that are from maybe the location, etc. Then they go back into the location and they're able to start a small side hustle for themselves. That person turned her skill, her qualification, her years of experience into a business by being a coach. This is something that you can also do as a person who's trying to make a bit of extra money that you can actually use and save for a rainy day. And I say save for a rainy day because I feel like when you have a side hustle, even if it makes you 200 Rand a day, don't chow that money. Take that money out of your daily budget, because enough for you is not a way of life. You have a job, but now you have a side hustle. Tell yourself in your mind that the money that you make from the side hustle entirely goes into your savings fund. Don't even pay attention. Don't try to count the coins every day. But every 3 months, 6 months, a year, when you check on that money, you'll be surprised how much money you would have actually made. There's another thing that I actually saw online. It's about saving 10 Rand a week. And then week 2, you save 20 Rand. Week 3, you save 30 Rand. That seems like small monies. But when you do the calculation, even on that spreadsheet, they show you the total. That's 15,000 Rand. And is the 15,000 Rand that you can and I can actually use to go on holiday. So all I'm trying to say is a habit that you're supposed to adopt in your life going forward is to have money for a rainy day. Don't find yourself left out in the wind, yet at the same time you have this fancy lifestyle and it looks like you have everything, but you don't have money for a rainy day. You need to start rethinking your life. My fifth and final habit that I would like for you to adopt is something very simple, and I think it's something that people think they do almost every weekend, but quite honestly they don't, and I'll tell you why. The habit that I want you to adopt going forward is for you to reward yourself by resting. Remember what I said at the beginning of the video, how I took time off in December? It wasn't the fact that my businesses were not working, but I deliberately slowed down the processes so that I am not that active bunny all the time throughout of December, because I wanted to rest and rewind. And some of what was happening in December was the fact that because of the slowness of the business processes, I started doubting some of the businesses that I was doing. Only for me to take time off, to rest, rewind, recharge. And then when we launched in January, we had such a good sale. Like literally, people came in, they bought stuff. We have orders even now of people wanting stuff for their weddings, etc. There's something about having taken time off to reward myself that made the universe feel like I will now have the energy to take on new projects, to take on bigger things, to take on bigger challenges, even financially. This is something that I feel like a lot of people don't do because we're all afraid to look like we're not being productive. But sometimes sitting at the desk for 8 hours or let's say maybe 4 hours, and you think you're being productive when you know very well that all you're doing is twiddling your thumbs on your phone, on TikTok, Instagram, etc. And before you know it, 4 hours is gone. But you're going to say to yourself, in that day you were productive. You're going to be tired from the screen time that you're going to be spending. You'll be tired from the fact that you're realizing that you've actually not done anything all day and that thing is haunting you. Sometimes you just need to buckle down. Switch off the laptop, leave it at home, take a break from your phone. And even though there's little things that you can do daily, my biggest point with this is that you need to take time off. Take 2 days off. Take 3 days off. If it means you literally need to be spending it sleeping the entire day, it's okay. Switch your phone off if you need to. If you're not in an environment that requires you to always be on emergency call, take time off. There's something rejuvenating mentally and emotionally and also physically about being on rest. It allows you to take a step back to properly look at the processes in your life, sort of like a chessboard where you're now shifting the pieces as to what's going to work and what won't. But sometimes you're not even able to see that big picture because you are buried into the work of trying to be super productive, and yet you're not really getting anywhere. Next thing come the end of the year, you have so much anxiety because you feel like, I did not achieve anything yet. I was saying I was so busy to everyone else. Don't be that person. This year, we're not those people. From today onwards, going forward, we are different people. We are adopting newer and better habits that are going to ensure that we change our lives. Mina geshem sana, as a Maxhosa would say. I reward myself. Again, if you follow me on social media, you know this about my life. I will go out on dates just to take a break, even if it's for 2 hours. I will go to Durban, even if it's from Thursday to Friday. I will take time, maybe go to Cape Town. These are smaller, more affordable things. Of course, you need to target times where it is not peak season so that you don't pay exorbitant amounts of money. This is something that you can also do for yourself. This is something that you should do for yourself so that you can be inspired. Even sometimes what I like about traveling is the fact that it gives you a lot of inspiration. You see different things, you see different ways that people are running their businesses. If you're somebody like me, you get inspired, you get rejuvenated, you get renewed energy for you to be able to come back stronger and better and more productive than ever in an effort for you to be able to implement the goals that are actually going to change your life. So with all the points that I've shared in this video, I do hope that you found at least 5, if not all of them, habits that you're actually going to adopt in the new year and implement into your life so that you can start changing your life for the better, so that you can start living a kind of life that looks like the type of life that you want for yourself. If there's one thing that I'm determined about this year is to literally keep showing up as the way that I want to show up. I want to start looking from appearance to the way that I carry myself to the habits that I include in my life. I want to start looking like the kind of woman that I aspire to be. And even though sometimes you may feel like, oh, but I've achieved this, I've reached this pinnacle, there's always room for improvement. There's always an opportunity for you to do better for yourself. And this is why I'm sharing my own secrets. And these are the habits that I myself adopted 7 years ago when I actually quit my full-time job, because I wanted a different life for myself. And even though I know that it is not a sprint, it's literally a marathon, which means it's small steps every day. But I know and I've seen and I've realized that the small steps every day are literally what ends up making the building look like it's now standing and it's now concrete and your systems are in place. And then it almost looks like you know how to do things, you know, like that person who said, how do I stay consistent? I was not always consistent. It's a system, it's processes, it's habits like the ones that I've shared in this video that I had to put in place in my life in order for me to change it from what it used to be to me being what I actually wanted to be, and even now what I aspire for it to be. I hope you've actually enjoyed this video. I hope you stayed until the end of it. If you have, please remember to click the like button. It's absolutely free. And also don't be shy to subscribe and join our community so that you don't miss out on any of the content that happens on this channel. And don't forget to keep your notifications on. Yeah, guys. Notifications on, because more will definitely be coming on this channel with regards to how you can make money online, kinds of businesses you can start, and also how you can actually improve your life as shared by yours truly in my own personal habits. Cheers.